Hey gaming fans, so today's another Yu-Gi-Oh deck profile, and that is Dustin's. I decided to give this deck another try. I know that ever since Links became a thing, Link Monsters became a thing, this deck is much harder to pull off, and you definitely cannot leave the Dustins on your opponent's side of the field, because they will use them to their advantage with their Link monsters. But anyways, I decided to try and, change things around in this and make it more like Burn style deck. But anyways, I'll get to the deck and tell you my choices. So we have 3 of the white Dustin. Now this guy, he's pretty much just your vanilla level 1 fiend that doesn't do anything. The good thing is he doesn't do anything because all the Dustins have the same effect, that except for this one, that there can only be one of them on the field at the same time, or on your side of the field at the same time. So you could have one on your opponent's side and one on yours, and that's it. So the white Dustin helps prevent that, problem. The next one is the green Dustin. So this one is, like I said, you can only have one on the field. And it cannot be used as a fusion, synchro, or XYZ material for the summon. Now, it would be cool if they kind of errated these guys to say that your opponent can't use these monsters as special summon from the extra deck. That would cause, the whole link thing to go away. But unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with what we got. Either that, or they have to add in link to the list of things that they can't be used for. But also, and it cannot be tributed. When this card on the field is destroyed, the controller targets one spell or trap they control and return that target to the hand. Really, the effect I don't think is going to do anything anyways. I don't really play these guys for the effects of themselves. So this one's the same idea, but then if this one is destroyed, the controller targets one monster in their graveyard and shuffle that target into the deck. That could come in handy if one of your Dustins gets destroyed into the graveyard. You could shuffle it back in, but yeah, again, not really for the effect. This one's okay, actually, for the effect, because it is burn, and this deck is focusing on the burn. So when he's destroyed, your controller takes 500 damage. So pretty good. And to round up the best of the Dustins, we got the House Dustins, and so this one basically, when this card is on the field is destroyed, and it has to be face up by your opponent's card, either by battle or effect, you get to special summon any Dustin monsters of your choice from your hand or deck to anywhere on the field, but you must special summon an equal number of monsters. So your optimal play here is to ram this guy into your opponent's monster, and then distribute your Dustin monsters to fill up all the spaces that are available. So it could be problematic if your opponent already filled up their field full of monsters, so you'll have to figure out how to deal with them, which I do put some cards in here that might help with that. So that's your big play right there. This whole deck revolves around this guy, the House Dustins, pretty much. And to further the Dustin play, the final one is Star Dustin. This is kind of a unique one. It can be used as aggressive, it can be used as stall, but it cannot be normal summon or set. He must be special summon from your hand by sending any number of Dustin monsters you control to the graveyard, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card's attack and defense each become equal to the number of monsters sent to the graveyard for its summon times 1,000. So if you send 3, the thing's 3,000 attack. Your opponent cannot flip or special summon any monsters or activate any set, spell, or trap cards on the field. So almost lock your opponent down once you summon this guy. They have to normal summon something bigger, or they have to play a spell card or something to get rid of it. If you control more monsters than your opponent does, destroy this card. So it kind of balances itself out, that you can't just keep them there and just keep beating down your opponent. And for the last of the monsters, we got 2 Goblin Kings, because they also can help for your aggression, just like this guy. He gets 1,000 attack for each fiend on the field, and all your Dustins are fiend, so you fill up the field full of fiends, you drop this guy down, he's really, really big. And then to help you get to your House Dustins, 1 Stygian Security. This is obviously better if you have it in 3s, but I only have one, so I only put one in here. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, special summon one level 1 fiend monster from your deck. And then because I don't have any of these guys, any more of these guys I should say, I threw in Shining Angels, because they essentially will do the same thing. You ram it into your opponent's monsters, and then you pull out your House Duston, and then ram that into your opponent's monsters. So that's the thought behind that anyways. So that's the monsters. That's pretty much a simple monster package. Now for the spells. I'm not playing a lot of spells in here. They're really just to help you get the monsters out. So we have the 1-for-1, which, you know, makes a lot of sense because pretty much the whole deck is level 1. And the cards you need to get to are level 1 for sure. So, and again with the level 1, we're Arf now. If you control a face-up level 1 monster, add 1 level 1 monster from your deck to your hand. And then during the end phase, if you did not special or normal summon the monster, you take 2,000 damage. So chances are you're gonna summon it anyways, or you just take the 2,000 and move on. And then to help with this deck, double summon, because this requires 2 monsters to really pull the combo off. Because you need to get your House Duston off, and you need to get one of your either Star Duston or your Goblin King onto the field to start doing the damage. So, you know, double summon makes a lot of sense because you can say normal summon your House Duston, and then with the double summon you can go into your Goblin King, and if you have to summon this guy just to pull out the Goblin King. So it really is important. You got to get those monsters on the field as fast as possible just to pull off the play. This deck really just goes for the one big play. I mean, it's not really a complicated deck. Then for the traps, we play quite a few traps. So the best one is Ceasefire. So once you fill up the field full of monsters, this card basically will do 500 damage to your opponent for each monster on the field. It will affect monster. So unfortunately it's not going to work with your white Dustons, but every other monster they're going to take damage. So that's a lot of burn damage. And kind of on the same vein, Secret Barrel. I originally was going to play 3 in there, but I had to take one out for space. But another card that, you know, you fill your opponent's side of the field full of monsters, and they'll probably have a nice hand full of cards as well. So you're going to deal damage equal to the total times 200 for each of those cards. So that can add up pretty quickly. And then to help with the monsters, keeping the opponent's monsters at bay, Ring of Destruction. Because you don't want them to fill up their field too fast, and if there is something they summon that's dangerous, you got to get rid of it. And it's burn. So basically during your opponent's turn, you target a face-up monster your opponent controls whose attack is less than or equal to their life points. So that's important. You have to remember you can't literally kill your opponent with this card, because it will prevent that. And then you take damage and your opponent takes damage. Also, you can only activate once per turn. They really had to balance this card out. The original printing of this card was so much better, but they errated it, so it makes it more balanced. Then for more monster control, Storming Mirror Force, just to bounce the monsters back so you could reset if your opponent attacks with a full field. Because really, you don't want your opponent to have a full field. They just need to have one monster that you can ram your House Duston into. And then while you're doing your setup, some Threatening Roars, just to prevent yourself from dying. And 3 Solemn Judgments, because this is a combo deck. So you get this card set on your turn. For your next turn, I mean, if you go to pull off your combo, hopefully if your opponent tries to activate something to stop it, you could flip this over and prevent that from happening. So that's pretty much the deck. I mean, it's just a fun deck. I'd like to hear what you have to say, what you would take out or what you would put in, or what works for you. Now, you're probably wondering why there's certain cards missing. So I just wanted to throw that in there. I took out the blue House Duston. I needed space. I don't think you need all of the Dustons in the deck for this to work, because your opponent's only going to have at least minimum 4 spaces available. So you just need to get the 4 out. And I just felt his effect could actually hurt you in the long run, because when he's destroyed, you banish a card at random from your hand face down. You might not want that to happen. It is totally standby phase, but still. I just thought I had to eliminate one, so I just eliminated blue. The other ones are the spell and trap cards that they created for these guys. And the reason why I didn't put them in there is because I didn't feel like they did anything. So basically, all they do is you equip it to a monster, and the equipped monster cannot be tributed or used as a fusion synchro Xyz. So it kind of slows your opponent's monsters down. But again, link summoning is a thing, so it really won't do anything. The other effect it has is when it's destroyed by your opponent's effect, if it's face down, I guess. This one, if it's face down, I think if this one is just destroyed by your opponent's effect, you get to add a Duston from your deck to your hand. So I don't like those effects where you're literally waiting for your opponent to just destroy them. Most likely they're not going to destroy them, and it'll just sit there and do nothing. So, you know, if they worded these a little bit better, or, you know, changed the effect a little bit, that if it got destroyed by any effect, maybe, like if you can destroy it, but I just don't see the point in these cards. So that's why I didn't add them in there. But what is cool is in the Magicalized Duston Mop, you see a bunch of other Dustons that I don't think we have yet. So there's like a little light purple guy in there. There's a, looks like a brown one. There's some black guy. I don't think that's the Stardust. I think that's actually a black Duston. And so there's a bunch of other Dustons. So maybe there's going to be more coming out. I don't know. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think down below. You know, it's just a fun deck. This isn't supposed to be serious, or I wouldn't take this to tournaments that you're hoping to win with it. It's really casual for your friends and stuff like that. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.